All right, so as I was saying, we are located here in Northeast Florida. We specialize in website design and maintenance, also graphic design, email marketing, which we'll be giving some tips on today, and we are also a certified constant contact partner. We do social media management as well, so very full service. My name is Dixie, and our presenter today will be Katrine, who is celebrating 20 years as founder and owner of Easy Marketing. So she's quite the expert. And we know your time is really valuable. Our workshop today will just be 20 minutes, but we want you to stay at the end because we're going to draw names for a free consultation. So stick around for that. And at the end, we're going to have a little bonus. Some of you asked us to talk about the CanSpam Act. So if you want to stay around for that, Katrina will be giving additional information about that at the end of our presentation today.
Yeah, because what most of you wanted to do was see what to say and how to say it. Everyone that answered that survey last week asked that, and then we had 2 or 3 asking for the CanSpam Act. So I'm going to take that at the very end after the 20 minutes are over. So we are going to make things simple. In order for you to send effective emails, keep it nice, neat, and simple. An email usually only has 3 parts. We have a good picture, we have a paragraph, and we have a call to action. Those are the 3 parts that anyone opening your email are looking for. So if you attended last week's the workshop 2 weeks ago, I'm sorry, you could see we have that. We have a picture, we have details, and we have call to action. In this case, the call to action was call us for pickup or delivery, and where the phone number was really large and easy to see. And it is important to remember that most people nowadays have a cell phone, and that's over 56% of the emails are open on a cell phone, and depending on what industry you are in, it might be many more. And we also discussed last week on how to create a template that you're using and reusing all the time. And if you missed that part, we did send a link to it in the invitation to this workshop. You can go back and take a look at it, because today we're going to dive in a little bit more on how to get that email out. And if we looked at what we had first is, what are you offering? All of you are offering something, even if it's just information, but you might have a product, you might have a sign up, but whatever you put in your headline, that is the first thing they're going to read when they open up your email, and it's going to make them decide if they want to continue or if you're going in the trash can. And then is the content, it's the message body, and make it as short and detailed as you can. There is you write down what you want to have, and then you look over and over and over and make it shorter and more crisp and clear. And that's how you're going to have people coming back to your emails when your message is very precise. And then what are they going to do next? We want to have the best one is a button to complete the action, or in the example we did last week, it was a phone number to call. But if you can put a button there that take you to an order page, it takes you to a page where you can read more. It takes you to download a document. But that is our call to action. So we talked about the photo, the content, and the call to action. But really, everything has a little bit more when you really break down an email. And the first part is the header and pre-header. And those are very important. So I have a little star on those because the next 2 meetings in 2 weeks and in 4 meetings, 4 weeks, I'm going to break down, I'm going to talk exactly how to do that. How is your header the top of your email, and what are you going to put in the pre-header? How are people going to open up your emails? The logo and the colors, this is important because you want to make sure they recognize your brand. You should have a good logo. If you don't have a logo for your company or organization, you need to get one. That is the minimum requirement I have when I work with clients. When someone calls and said, oh, I want you to help me set up your company, and I said, okay, what we're going to have for logo? Oh, I don't think that's important. And I tell them, you need a logo because that is the start of your brand. And if you don't have a logo, that's what we do here. So you can contact us and we can create logos for you. And there are other places online where you can get a logo, unless you have a local designer that will do it for you. Find a good image. Make sure you crop it in the size and that it has a relationship to what your message in here. So in this suggestion here is spring models have arrived. That is the headline within the email. And of course, then we see all the different bikes. And then you have the message body. Try to keep it, again, short. Less than 20 lines is what we are suggesting for a simple email where you have one message. And then we have the call to action. And then you have the footer. The footer is the one, the logo, the colors, and the footer is always the same every time you send something out. And since you're creating the first one you create, you can copy that over and over again as a template. You never need to change that, but you should have all information in there. When you're open, or your phone number, your email address, and if you have a brick and mortar, your regular address. All of that should be in here. My next slide should have talked about the header part of the email, but again, on March 24th and April 7th, we're going to make a deep dive into those parts. So try to only do one image. If you have lots of images, put those on your website or put those on your Facebook page and send people there, but the email needs to be short and nice. And we're going to try to drive people to your website. So an image can actually have a link. So, and it's interesting, if you have a call to action, we call before in the call of action, you link that to, for example, your website or to an order page. People have a tendency to more click on the image than on the button. So make sure that you use both your logo should go to your homepage of the website, and the image should go to wherever you are driving the traffic. I'm looking at, you haven't been telling me where you are, so let me see here. Okay, so I only have one suggestion from you, but one example would be if you're a real estate agent. This first image would have been the house you have on the market, and the link would go to the listing online where you have more information about the house, and you would put the link both in the image and in the call to action, the image there. When you create images in here, is the headline should be 22 points text, okay? And we're going to go in with a live demo how you change that. The text should have more than 20 lines if it is a short one message information, and the size of it should be 14 points. I know I talked to Corky about this yesterday. He's one of you on here today, and remember, when people are reading on your cell phone or on the computer, it shouldn't be too big because people have to scroll forever. And if someone has problems with reading small letters, they will do settings on their computer on the cell phone so it shows up larger. If you only have a few lines of text, you might want to, you can center that text, but do not center. If you're making a newsletter, make it left align. Maybe not the header, or maybe just if you have 1 or 2 lines, but otherwise it needs to be left aligned. I'm dyslexic, so that's really important. I have a really hard time reading something that is centered for going on and on forever. And when it comes to the font, you can choose what font you have in your email, but only do 1 or 2 fonts the most. And then we have the call to action. Make it easy to find, use a contrasting color to everything else you have, and use action-oriented words so they understand that they need to click there, like this one, view new models. People know to click and get going on that. So again, we're going to keep it super simple. A picture, a paragraph, and call to action. All right. Remember, you can ask me questions if you have any, but we are going to jump right into constant contact. And I have right here, I'm sorry, I need to move other things out of here. So if you were here 2 weeks ago, you know we first created a template. And then we made a copy of that template, and then we created the email itself. But let's jump back to this template and look at a few things we talked about. So we're going to open this up. And one of the things was what kind of design and what kind of size you want. So this is the header, and you can see here I had set that to 30, and the suggestion we had here was 24, which really means that that is the minimum. Okay, because if it's a long sentence, you might want to change it. In this case, it was just you are invited, and you can play a little bit with it. Okay.
Hey, Katrine, I think we still see the PowerPoint. Can you switch us to your other screen?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Let's see, where do I do this? Help me, show screen. So let me see.
Probably just toggle to that.
There we are. Are we looking at that now?
Yes, we got it now. Thanks.
All right, okay. So what I talked about before, let me jump back in the beginning. I opened up the constant contact account, and I talked about that we created the template last time. We made a copy, and then we created this the St. Louis barbecue sandwich. So now we are jumping back and just taking a look at some of the details in here. And this is where I talked about the headline in here. In that case, I put it to 30. Here is the rest of the text, and that is 14. Don't make it smaller because it's going to be too small to read on a cell phone. So 14 is the perfect size. And again, do not make it much larger. It might look good to you here, but on a cell phone, that text is going to be really big, and you're going to go forever and ever to scroll down to see the message. So keep with 14 pixel height, and there you can do it. I did have a question yesterday when it comes to color. I know they give you a lot of options to have backgrounds. There are layout pieces and templates in here where you can drag and drop into an email like this that has a little bit of a background. That's fine. But I highly recommend you stay away from a dark background with white text for the message body. But you do have many different options in here. This is a regular header, but you can also put one. And again, if you only have for a headline, it might be good to have this, but that is for a headline and not for body text. You can set up this design. We didn't look at that last time, but all of this, you can test all of these different parts here and see how you create your email. We did a one message quick email, and that's what this tutorial is for. But of course, a lot of you are making newsletters, and that takes more time to get a newsletter look good. You have to take different pieces and slowly move it up and make sure you have a lot of extra space in your email. Don't cram things together. You have something called a spacer that you can pull in and add that is going to make it flow and look really good. And if you have something important to say, big letters doesn't make it better, big and red. It's better to just give it a lot of space. So that's where you have your call to action. Make sure you don't cram it in between things. Like if we would have used this one. I'm going to remove the hair. This is not a good way to put a call to action because this is way too crammed in here. We want them to do this call to action. So put in your button and then you have a space area you can drag and drop. You can have it before and after. And if this is your first time working with this editor, I hope you can see the purple line. And that is where it's going to end up and where you can go in and work with this spacer. It takes a little bit of time to make it, to figure out where it is, but here you have it. If you want to change a heading, you can always go in and do it right here. But if you want headings to always be a certain style, you can go in under design and you can actually go in and say that whatever colors you want on the dividers, on the headings, and on the text. So if you don't like the Arial, you can actually go in and say anything new here should be Georgia, for example. And I have to say Georgia is harder to read. So sometimes you might want to go up with a larger size on Georgia. Okay, that's in constant contact in most. Okay, I got a question up here. I'm going to take a look at that a little bit later. So we are going to jump back. I have a couple of other things I wanted to show you. So again, on March 24th, we're going to dive into the subject line. The subject line is what is showing up here. That's what the people see when they open up their phone or their inbox. They're going to see who it's from and they're going to see the subject line. So on the 24th, we are only going to talk about the subject line. I can talk an hour about that because how do you make people open up your email? What is it going to get them? What words are you going to use? We're going to look at that. And if you guys will remember to tell me what industry you're in, I will be able to give you more examples. And then the 2 weeks after that, we are going to look at the from and the reply email. This seems to be very simple. You think you set that up, but again, they need to recognize who you are when you open up your email. So anyone still hanging in there? And I think we still have everyone in here. Yes. Wow. all of you are going to be put into a drawing, and if you open up your follow-up email, you're going to see me draw a name, and if you're the winner, contact me and we will set up a 20-minute free consultation on marketing. Okay, I did promise you to talk a little bit about the CanSpam Act. I had a few people asking about that, and sorry, I need to look at my screen over here. Maybe I can. No, I can look at it here. So when using Constant Contact, I put an ad for Constant Contact in here that shows that Constant Contact's term and conditions require that you list permission, your list to be permission based. And when we call about your list, that are those email addresses that you have, that you import into Constant Contact and that you use when you're sending out. And the reason it's called list is that you can bunch those together into different categories, different lists, depending on what group they belong to. If you're a church, you might want have a list for everyone, all the parents with teenagers, and a different one for the children, and a different one for the men's group, and a different ones for the women's Bible studies. You might have those in different lists. That's what we mean with a list. But the important thing here is they are all permission based. And what does that mean? Constant Contact talk about that in their permission policy. First of all, who can you email to? Constant Contact allows you to import lists of contact into your account with expressed and implied permission. And they can also sign up. So first of all, anyone that goes to your website and say, I want email from you, of course you can send email to them. Anyone that are using a sign-up form, you of course can send to them. If you're at an event, like a networking event, and people are walking around and giving out, you're changing email addresses, and you're talking a little bit, of course, they have, by giving you their business card, that is in what we call an implied consent. Who you can't email, you cannot go out, I'm sorry, my phone is ringing here. You cannot have a friend that has a shoe business and you happen to have a hat business. You cannot ask that friend, can I get your email addresses, because we don't really compete with you, so if I get your contact list, you can get mine and we can cross. You cannot do that, because it's the people that bought the shoes did not say they want information from you as a hat company. And you can absolutely not go out and purchase anything online. It used to be, if you went back a few years, you could see, buy an email list of everyone in the country that is a CPA office, or that is a soccer coach, or anything like that. That doesn't work anymore, because the big companies out there taking care of email transport, kind of, which is Yahoo and Gmail and Microsoft Outlook, all of those, they keep an eye on what you are sending out from your email address. And if you have a Gmail account and you get your shoe store friends give you their 500 emails, and you put those into your Gmail account and send that out, a lot of those people are going to mark your email as spam. They say, I've never heard about this hat company before, I do not want them. And that rings a little bell with Gmail and they say, this person, first of all, they send out a lot of emails in a big bunch, and everyone is spamming them because they actually know that. What's going to happen is they're going to close you down, and that means they're going to do what we call blacklisting. And that's going to say, okay, we are not going to let anything from that hat company, any emails from the hat, we're not going to deliver any of those to any of our clients, to wherever they want to send. It doesn't matter if it is a bunch of 20, 30, 100 emails, or if it's one email from you to someone else. They're just going to stop you down, and it's called blacklisting, and it takes time, and it costs thousands of dollars for an expert to fix that and make it possible for you to send out emails again. And that's actually, we have it at the bottom here. Spam report guidelines. So AOL, Gmail, Yahoo, and Hotmail, they don't tolerate more than 0.1%. That's 1 in 1,000. If you have more than 1 in 1,000 marking you at spam mail, then you are on their radar. And I work with constant contact clients that sometimes they have their own list, but they haven't sent anything out in a long time. They are starting maybe a newsletter, and they have thousands of emails in there. And if you would go in and take that list and suddenly send it out to everyone, constant contact will probably shut you down even before anything goes out and lock your account. So, but if you ask people if they want an email from you, and if they sign up on your website, for example, for emails, then you are good to go. I don't see any questions about this, especially if you're going to get started and you have a lot of email addresses, but you're not sure how to get started. Give us a call. That is what we do here at Easy Marketing. It will be worth a couple of $100 that we would charge to help you get that process going, instead of you getting your domain name blacklisted. But if you have good email addresses with people that are expecting emails from you, if you're a small company that, if you have an organization and you have 100 members and they pay them, come to meetings, and they pay monthly dues, yes, you can add them, you can send them. They should be expected to get an email from you. If you are like us, a marketing company where you maybe have 150 clients and you never sent anything to them, yes, you could do it. I would send those, maybe send it to 20 or 30 in the beginning, and just build it up so they know what's coming. But other than that, you are going to be good to go, and you will see that email marketing with using constant contact is one of the very best ways you can do marketing. Okay, now I've been rambling for 10 minutes. Oh, perfect. They liked the information and thought it was useful. So Dixie, was there something I missed, something you were thinking about?
I think that's really great advice. And yeah, if you have any questions, specific to your business, your organization, we'd love to hear from you. And stay tuned for the follow-up email you're going to get. It's going to have a replay of the video here in case we talked fast and you missed something, or you wanted to see that demo again. And also, we'll be pulling a drawing for a consultation with Katrine.
Okay. So thank you so much. You're hanging in there. I was talking very quickly, but it's supposed to be short. And I hope to see all of you in 2 weeks.
See you then.